Hi, I'm Hillary Pellittieri.
And I'm Lisa Thomas. We are fourth grade teachers in St. Tammany Parish.
And today we're here to talk to you about text structure. There are 5 text structures within nonfiction text. And today we're going to go through all 5 of those structures, and we're going to talk to you about the differences between them. And we've even come up with some really cool hand motions to help you remember the differences between each one. We'll also have a few examples so that we can kind of talk about what makes each text structure unique. Our first text structure we're going to talk about is description. And our hand motion for description, we're going to take our fingers together at the top and we're going to draw a big circle. And as we're doing that, we're going to say description describes a topic. Try that with me. Description describes a topic. Excellent. You try it on your own. That's great. You did wonderful. Let's take a look at an example and see if we can understand how description is used to describe a topic.
So here's an example the author uses for description. Going to the lake in the summer is relaxing and fun. My uncle hangs a hammock between 2 trees. Hammocks are the most comfortable places to nap. We usually bring a few of my friends with us. We like to jump off the dock and have cannonball contests. As you can see, the author is using different phrases to describe what it's like going to the lake in the summer. For instance, he says hammocks are the most comfortable places to nap. Now you try. See if you can find something that is an example of description.
I hope you found a really great example within this description text. One example I found was how they described how their dog had a good time and said that he liked to swim and throw a stick. Those are ways that our author used description to describe the topic of going to the lake in the summer. Awesome. Our second text structure that we're going to talk about is sequence. And our hand motion for sequence is like this. If you take your hands and kind of almost like you're putting down boxes, right? We're going to put our events in order. So do that with me. We're putting our events in order. And that's what sequence does for us. Our sequence in our text structure takes that topic and breaks them down into events and then tells us those events in order. So I'm sure you've heard when you've been reading words like first, second, next, you probably were reading a sequencing text structure. So let's take a look at an example.
Here's an example that the author uses sequence. A butterfly starts life as a very small, round oval or egg. They usually lay their eggs on leaves. In the second stage of the butterfly life cycle, the hatched larva or caterpillar eats the leaf it was attached to as an egg. In this stage, they spend most of the time eating. Not long after becoming caterpillars, they form themselves into a pupa, also known as a chrysalis. The caterpillar is rapidly changing inside. Finally, when the caterpillar has done all of its forming and changing inside the pupa, if you're lucky, you will get to see an adult butterfly emerge. So as you can see, the author uses those key words like in the second stage, and then it continues. So see if you can find some key words that the author uses.
One keyword I saw, which was a big help to show me that this was a sequencing text structure, was the word finally, which is telling me that they're putting those events in order by telling me that last event. Finally, this is what happened. Excellent job, guys. We're ready to move on to text structure number 3. Text structure number 3 is compare and contrast. And when I think of compare and contrast, I immediately think of that Venn diagram that we use in classrooms, where our Venn diagram tells us in the center circle how things are alike, and in the 2 outside circles how things are different. So our hand motion goes alikes and differences. Try it with me. Alikes and differences. Good job. Try it on your own now. Awesome. So let's take a look at an example of a text that tells us alikes and differences and uses the compare contrast text structure.
In this example, the author says, many people confuse crocodiles and alligators, and it's no wonder. The two animals are closely related. However, if you know a few facts about each animal, I think you'll be able to tell them apart. So as you can see, the author is already showing you that this passage is going to compare and contrast the two. So he goes on to say, crocodiles and alligators are large, four-legged reptiles that live primarily in warm tropical swamps and rivers. They have excellent hearing and senses of smell. Their ears and nostrils have flaps that close when they dive underwater. While they usually stay underwater for half hour or less, they can hold their breath up to 2 hours or more. Both animals have huge, powerful tails that help them swim and fight predators. And so then the author goes on with the next paragraph, and I'll let you read that on your own. But as you can see in this second paragraph, the author is comparing the two types, the crocodiles and alligators, showing all the ways that they are similar. So you try and read about the different ways that they are different.
In this last paragraph, I saw that they were using words like both and different. Those gave me really big clues that we're talking about a compare and contrast, how we're seeing things are alike, like when they say both, but then how we're seeing things that are different when they obviously use the word different. Y'all are doing so great. We're ready to move on to our fourth text structure. Our fourth text structure is cause and effect. So our hand motion for cause and effect, if you hold your bottom hand down here really low and your top hand really high, and you say cause and effect, you're gonna say what happened and why it happened. So our texts are gonna tell us about an event that happened and then what caused it to happen. Why did it happen? Let's take a look at an example.
Here's an example of cause and effect. It was a dark, rainy day. We heard thunder and saw lightning in the distance, so we decided to stay inside. Luckily, we had a bunch of board games to play. So as you can see, the cause is already filled in for us. We heard thunder and saw lightning. So now you try. What is the effect of this passage?
So because they heard and thunder and saw lightning, because they did that, they had to decide to stay inside. So what happened? They stayed inside. Why did it happen? Because they saw lightning and they heard thunder. Awesome job, guys. Let's get to our last text structure, our fifth structure. The structure requires a little bit of acting. So let's see if you brought your acting skills with you. So the last text structure tells us about a problem and then how we might be able to solve that problem. And so your hand motions are gonna go a problem and one or more solutions. So you're thinking about a problem, something that happened that needs to be solved, and then a light bulb appears and you think of how you can solve it. Awesome. Try it on your own. Let's see those good acting skills. Great job. Let's see if we can look at an example of a problem solution text.
In this one, the author says, large amounts of garbage cause health problems for people and animals. Litter also takes away from the natural beauty of our communities and wild spaces. One answer is known as the waste hierarchy: reduce, reuse, recycle. Reducing waste, reusing waste when possible, and recycling waste into goods for tomorrow. The first and most effective way to minimize waste is to reduce. We can reduce waste by purchasing in bulk, buying items with less packaging, and switching to reusable instead of single-use items. Businesses can adopt manufacturing methods that require fewer resources and create less waste. So as you can see in the first paragraph, the author states the problem. What is the problem? That large amounts of garbage can cause health problems for people and animals, and it also takes away from the natural beauty of our communities. So now you try. What are some of the solutions the author uses?
So again, our problem is all the litter and large amount of garbage. Our solution, and in this text, they give us 3 solutions, and each one is a separate paragraph. They tell us to reduce, to reuse, and to recycle. So that's great. I'm looking at all of those great words in that third paragraph saying like, for example, right? And they're telling us how it can be reused. This is a great example of problem and solution. Let's go back over all 5 of our text structures and see if we can remember all of those hand motions. All right, are we ready? Our first text structure is description. Remember, description describes a topic. Try it with me. Description describes a topic. Excellent. Our second text structure is sequence. We're going to put our events in order. Try it with me. Our second text structure is sequence. Put events in order. Our third text structure is compare, contrast, alikes, and differences. Try it with me. Compare and contrast, alikes, and differences. Excellent. Our fourth text structure is cause and effect. What happened? Why it happened. Try it with me. What happened? Why it happened. Cause and effect. Good. And our last one is problem, solution. A problem and one or more solutions. Try it with me. A problem and one or more solutions. Problem, solution. Excellent job. Y'all are doing awesome. Do you want to try some on your own? We're going to give you some examples, 3 examples of text structures. And let's see if you can identify what text structure is being used for each example.
So the first one is, cold air is heavier than hot air. When air is heated under a balloon, the balloon rises into the sky. This is how hot air balloons fly. In our second one, it says, our new puppy is a golden retriever. We have named him Buddy. He's really cute and soft. He has a ton of energy. And in our last one, before we go fishing, we need to get our gear together. First, we put the fishing rods by the door. Next, we dig up some worms for bait. Then we grab our tackle box. Finally, we're ready to go.
Awesome. Let's see if you got those answers correct. So the first one said, was about the hot air balloon, was cause and effect, because it told us how air is heated, causing the balloon to rise into the sky. Our second answer was description. They were telling us about a new puppy, the golden retriever, and they told us all of these qualities that the golden retriever has. They're cute, they're soft, they have energy, right? All of these things were describing that new puppy. And finally, our third example was sequence, and they gave us lots of those clue words. Before we did this, then we did this, next we did that, finally we did this, right? So we put all those events in order in that text. Guys, you did really great today talking to us about text structure. You learned all 5 of them and some really great hand motions to go with it. Thank you so much for joining you, and we hope that you keep reading. Bye.